Shalom, shalom, everybody. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Monday night class, 28th of September, 2020. We're going to start out with a moment of silence, pertaining to our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and understanding that we're in the last days and that, a lot of the events that's going on around us, he's orchestrating just as he promised that he's going to come in the last days and regather us, return us to where his habitation is at. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into the prayer. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and upright belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk out after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea. Hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us. We need you so much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, so with that being said, anybody got any current events? Anybody got any current events? Okay, so what I was going to deal with as far as current events, I'm just going to do like a little introduction to the video that I'm getting ready to play. It's called It's the New Black. And what it is that our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, already have told us over and over again how that for us not to, intermingle. And we know that the Israelites and everybody else around them did just the opposite of what he said don't do. So now everything been scrambled all up. And so now we're at the end of prophecy, and the Most High is in the process of starting out sorting the sheep out from the goats, and so we got people that we understand about the melanin, and we don't understand that the Israelites is black, but he tells us that all Israel ain't Israel, and because of the intermingling and because of all the interactions with all these different other races intermingling, now people don't know who's who, but the heavens know, Most High know, and the Lord of Hosts, they know who's who, and he's singling out his people, his chosen ones. So with that being said, I'm gonna play this video, and then it's gonna make a lot of sense based on what we dealt with over the weekend when we found out that melanin is a system within itself, within the human body, and that it's a reason, it's a gift that the Most High gave to Adam and his seed line all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so let me get this right quick. Okay.
When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Three years ago, I did a short video on how white is becoming the new black. Around that time, the term cultural appropriation was on the rise. Since then, the kingdom of darkness is using many strategies to erase the Most High's creation. The synagogue of Satan has done a phenomenal job deceiving the world. The workers of iniquity convince the people that the Khazars are the blood descendants of the Israelites. Look how easily the kingdom of darkness erased the chosen people and steal their identity. Today, the kingdom of darkness is waging war to erase the black race, the indigenous people. Satan wants to replace the original woman and man with mixed and biracial people. By doing this, he can easily blend his seed with the rest of the population. The way the kingdom of darkness stole the identity of the Israelites was by invading the territories that spoke of the Israelites in the scriptures. The serpent seed intermingled his seed with the indigenous population dwelling in those lands to gain birthrights. Multiple generations later, the population of the people dwelling in those lands changed due to the invading seed. When the offspring of the invader and the original people increase, they demand birthrights and their inheritance. The new species oppress the original people and take the inheritance of the original people. If the elders do not pass knowledge to the next generation, there will be multiple generations of Israelites not knowing their history. They would follow the kingdom of darkness narrative. That is what our people have been doing for multiple generations. Now in the awakening, our people are beginning to learn of their history. It is extremely important that we teach the next generation of who we are and our bloodline. The scriptures spoke of a king in Egypt that did not know Joseph and his contribution to Egypt. That king made our ancestors his slaves.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Okay.
Land of Mizraim, and pass our customs and the laws of the Most High to their descendants, every king that sat on the throne in Egypt would have known about Joseph. It is important for the elders to teach the younger. The scripture said, train a child in the way he should go. When the child gets older, he will not depart from it.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Israelites, history has shown how the kingdom of darkness erased bloodlines and people from being remembered. The scriptures reveal how the heathens conspired together to cut us off from being a nation, and the name Israelite would be no more in remembrance.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Today, the chosen people are known as Jews, and their appearance is far from the original people. If you ask anyone who are the chosen people, everybody would say the Jews. Even awakened Israelites refer to themselves as Jews. The Most High called his people Israelite. The kingdom of darkness changed the name to Jew. Until this day, I do not understand how Satan has gotten away with this. The original people of the world in every land on this planet are a dark people, the black indigenous people created by the Most High. Black people are the original people. I will repeat, Black people are the original people. I am not going to apologize nor feel sorry for stating facts. It was important for the serpent seed to colonize every land on this earth. Once they control the land, they can plant their seed. Once the Most High's creation has been infiltrated, the whitewashing and the appearance of the people change over time. The serpent seed is not indigenous to any land. That is the reason Satan had his seed conquer and steal from the indigenous people to gain land ownership. The indigenous people have no need to fight for land because the Most High divided all the land of this world to the indigenous people. The way the indigenous people know of what portion belonged to them, their family's bloodline identifies their inheritance. Just as the promised land belonged to the Israelites, it is their bloodline inheritance from their father Abraham that was passed to Jacob, the progenitor of the Israelite bloodline.
And behold,
Okay.
the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed.
The kingdom of darkness had to whitewash certain areas first to assume the chosen people's identity. It takes 3 to 4 generations to white out a bloodline. A good example is North Africa. Africa is the second largest continent on earth. Majority of the population are the indigenous people. However, North Africa has a large population of mixed people. The modern day Egyptians and other bloodlines in the land of Ham are whited out. The process of the kingdom of darkness erasing history and the chosen people took multiple generations to complete.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty. But thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
The kingdom of darkness managed to deceive the whole world of who the real Israelites are. How likely would Satan succeed in erasing the indigenous people of today? Blackfishing is another popular saying given to non-blacks taking on the identity of the so-called black people. The Most High want us to revisit the topic of white is the new black. Yah want to expose how his people, the indigenous people of the world, are helping the kingdom of darkness erase themselves. Everyone needs to comprehend who the indigenous people are. Once this generation can properly identify the indigenous people, learn the difference between bloodline and race, they will gain a better understanding on why the kingdom of darkness need the indigenous people to establish its own. Satan is a liar. The scriptures reveal he is the father of lies.
Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it.
For Satan to deceive the whole world, he must imitate the Most High. By imitating the Most High, he can deceive many into serving him. The scriptures reveal to us that in the beginning, the Most High created man and woman in his image and in his likeness.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
The scriptures went on to reveal that the Most High breathed the breath of life into the man. It was not until the Most High breathed into Adam he became a living being.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Once the Most High created the first man, the scripture referred to as Adam, Yah took Adam's rib to create the woman. The scripture identified as Eve.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man.
Although the Most High used dirt to create Adam and Adam's rib to create Eve, Yah made the man and woman in his image and in his likeness. Yah made sure the original man and the original woman were able to duplicate themselves. Yah made sure all his creation can reproduce itself. A male and a female from every species must come together to reproduce itself. Mankind, the animal kingdom, and the ecosystem. If a male and a female do not come together to reproduce itself, that species would go extinct. The scriptures reveal to us in the book of Genesis that an infiltration has taken place. The scriptures reveal the sons of God, fallen angels, took wives from the daughters of men and produced an offspring.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
The offspring from the sons of God and the original woman are the creation from the kingdom of darkness and sin. This infiltration has brought forth the serpent seed. Satan needed the original people to create an offspring. The offspring of the sons of God is not a duplicate of the original people. The sons of God offsprings are a new species. This new species is not of the Most High. Yah had already created the original people before the infiltration took place. It takes an original man and an original woman to reproduce an original child. Anything outside of that is not of the Most High. Here is where bloodline and race come into effect. The Most High identify his people via bloodline. Satan identified the creation of the Most High by race. There are original heathens. The term heathen is not a derogatory name. The truth is, heathens are all who practice paganism. The terminology heathen is another name for an idolater. If you do not serve the Elohim of Israel and you serve another deity, those deities are idols.
Okay. What we're gonna do right here? That was a halfway point. Anybody got any questions or comments?
What she said about North Africa, like they're lighter. We know the Egyptians whited out.
Right.
Libya. I don't know. I haven't seen the people that there, but like Algeria is north.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who's there either. But okay, but she didn't like go into details as to, I guess, like the closer to Europe it appears is.
Yeah, she's gonna do it in the second half.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just play half of it. I didn't want to just play the whole video. I try to break them down and talk, before people lose their thought. So yeah, she was talking about one of the things I seen that she got it. First of all, you can see she believed in Jesus, but she got the serpent seed, saying that the giants is the serpent seed, and the giants ain't the serpent seed. Japhet is the serpent seed, and the giants. And so that's two different lineages of so-called people that's on the earth. That she got it twisted up. She thinks that when the fallen angels came in Genesis 6, is when the serpent seed was conceived, but it's not. It was the serpent seed was happening in the garden with Eve. When the serpent went in, cohabitated with Eve and got Cain. So she's off on that. But I'm playing a video because to show you the fact that like I was saying before, when you go back and look at in the history books, or you can Google it or whatever you want to do, but just Google Newton, Sir Francis Newton, the one that's supposedly discovered the law of gravity and all that stuff, and look at his attire. So that's back in around the 14th, 15th, 16th century where they had the long hair, but it was a mix in between the white and the black hair. It was the woolly like long hair. It was mixed. That was part of them what being whited out. They was over there in Spain, was where they were sent to, but they from Spain they intermingling with all these European nations, and you can see it once it's shown to you. Then now when you see an Edomite, he's white because he went through the process. But the only thing what the Most High used to identify them is the big long snarls they have, because that's Greek. He intermingled with the Greeks. So when they went over there, like I keep showing you the image of Caesarion. His mama was Cleopatra. She was a Edomite. I mean, she was a Greek, Edomite Greek, and the daddy too. Then they ended up when they got together. He had a tint on him, so you could tell that he was mixed. And so then from there, that's how the Jew looked it, and they saying black, And so my from just I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked, but just to give you an example what I'm talking about. If you go to the story of Jesus on the cross, and when he was doing they call it the Rosa della Ria, wherever way that crucifixion walk, where he walked with the cross on his back. Well, he fell down, and then Simon picked him up. They helped him. Simon picked the cross up and told it for him. Well, look at it. Every time they have all these different colors of all these other people in the Jesus story, and even the Jews, and they have different colors, all this. But every time, Simon is a mulatto. Every time. Check that out. All right. So anyway, we're gonna go back to. Anybody got any other questions? We'll go back to I got about 10 more minutes. Yeah, I think the second half is a lot more to the point. Okay. Nobody else have anything? Okay. We go back to the.
Elohim Israel is the one and only, the Alpha and the Omega.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
If you serve any other deity outside of the Most High, you are a heathen or a pagan. Satan used race in this modern day culture to bring confusion, in addition to imitate the Most High's bloodline system. A person's race is identified by place of birth and appearance. Bloodline is a family clan. The scriptures often identify a family clan by the father's name. Jacob's bloodline are Israelite. Ishmael's bloodline are Ishmaelites. Esau's bloodline is known as Edomite, and etc. Through the Most High's bloodline system, a person can be born anywhere in this world as long as he or she descends from their family's bloodline. That is their nationality, in modern term, race. For example, Israelites are scattered all over the world. The descendants of Jacob is dwelling in all the kingdoms of this world. Regardless of place of birth, that individual is an Israelite if he or she descend from Jacob's bloodline. We have Israelites born in the Caribbean, Israelites born in Africa, Israelites born in the United Kingdom, and all over the world. Today, we are connecting with each other from all the places we dwell. When we apply the Most High's bloodline system, the place of birth is not a determining factor. In the beast system, you must be born in Israel to be considered an Israeli. The kingdom of darkness group people with the same features and place of birth as one race. By doing this, Satan is mixing multiple bloodlines into one to identify the people of today. The reason Africa is the motherland, there are multiple countries on the continent of Africa. Majority of the inhabitants are categorized as Black in the beast system. Throughout the African continent are tribes. These tribes are a bloodline. Through those bloodlines, the indigenous people on the continent of Africa differentiate themselves. Although they resemble each other and been grouped into the Black race, their tribe or bloodline identify them. Israelites, this is why the Most High do not look at the outward appearance, because his original people look alike. Bloodline is the key and the true identifier of a person. Race is a non-factor.
But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart.
Race was invented by the kingdom of darkness to counter the Most High's bloodline system. Remember, Satan imitates everything the Most High does. The beast system professes color does not matter, however, creates a race classification based on color. That is why the serpent seed find it difficult to accept that black people or the descendants of slaves are the chosen people, simply because of the color of their skin. Black people have an opposite appearance from the serpent seed. Whenever it is the exact opposite, it stems from the kingdom of darkness. Israelites, it is important to know the difference between race and bloodline. There are black Edomites and black Ishmaelites. These individuals would be the original people that descend from those bloodlines. The beast system in this generation is diluting bloodlines to increase the serpent seed's population. By infiltrating all the kingdoms of this world, Satan can plant his seed into the indigenous population and inherit the original people's heritage and birthrights. That is what the Khazars have done with the chosen people. The Most High want his creation, the indigenous people of the world, to know they are assisting the kingdom of darkness in erasing themselves. In addition, increasing the population of their oppressors. The beast system is promoting interracial couples and mixed families. These unions only benefit the serpent seed. For multiple generations, the kingdom of darkness used the mixed seed and the biracial to oppress the indigenous people. Many mixed and biracial people have the mentality of the serpent seed. The beast system classified biracials and the mixed group as black. While the kingdom of darkness dilute the indigenous population with biracial and mixed people, Satan is causing a separation between the indigenous man and woman to further destroy the Most High's creation. If the black man and the black woman do not reproduce themselves, they will go extinct. To further sever the indigenous people, Satan programmed the indigenous people to hate themselves and accept everything white.
Yeah, right. So with that being said, that shines a light on what I was saying earlier about Saturday about you reading over what's being conveyed in Genesis chapter 6 when he said that Noah was perfect in his generation, is what she talking about right here. And people now it's going over people's heads, but that's what he's talking about. So before the flood, what she's showing you right here, he was at it then. And he had got to the point where it was Noah and Shem were the only two left. They came from, they had the genetic markers and the genetic code from Adam. He had mixed them all up with these angels all over the place, Cain seed and the 6 day man he was out of place. They was all over the place. That's where we at now. And so that's what's gonna bring him back again.
Indigenous people fetishize biracial and mixed people. They hate their dark skin that is made in the Most High's image.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Another method Satan is using to be sure white is the new black, the doctrines of devils. Satan convinced the indigenous man that whatever he produced with the strange woman is an exact duplicate of himself. Never mind that by the third generation he whitened himself out if his seed continued to reproduce with the serpent seed. By the third and fourth generation, the serpent seed.
Yeah, look at that. So you see how it started over here. It's the same thing happened on the slave ship. This what got on the slave ship. Then the women was being raped, and then by the time they got over here, this is what you had. Then they got over here. Then these boys ended up sliding out, passing for white. The next thing you know, if you get a white lady, then this is what you get over here. So that's how that works. And this what happened. That's why Esau is white now today. When he went to Spain, he started marrying into all those European aristocratic families, and now they white. But then when you understand this, all you do is go back in history and look at the people. Look at the ones that was the rulers, the so-called the kings and queens of the different countries. They was mulatto. And you can see it. Like I said, looking for Sir Francis Bacon, Newton, all them guys they be talking about. Look at their hair. It was like these guys, this guy hair, the second one. Then they just wipe it on out. Now they European looking. But they Edomites.
Stomp out the indigenous blood. Dear Black men, when you reproduce with a strange woman, your offspring is a testimony against you. Your offspring will turn around and oppress you, just as they have been doing for multiple generations. Your offspring inherit your self-hatred. That is why your sons and daughters reproduce with the serpent seed to follow in your footstep. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Many Israelite males believe they are creating Israelite children with the strange woman. You are creating a thorn in your flesh, just as Abraham did when he had Ishmael with the strange woman.
And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael.
The Ishmaelites participated in the slave trade. The Most High will punish the children for the sins of their fathers to the third and fourth generation.
The Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation.
The Most High is indeed visiting the iniquities of the fathers to the children in this generation in the form of generational and bloodline curses. Remember, Esau spoiled his seed by reproducing with many strange women, going against his parents' wishes.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. So like I said, I was saying what we dealing with over the weekend was, I keep saying, and you have to get that in your head when you're reading, is that the creator, the angels, the Lord of hosts, they scientists. And so when they talking to the prophets, and when we read what they're saying nowadays, you have to understand that. So let's look at it based on what I just said, and based on what we're reading and what we're listening to. I'm gonna go back to give you one example. It says Genesis 1:26. He says, Genesis 1:26, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his image. In the image God created he, him, male and female created he them. We know the story on that. Then he told them to go be fruitful. We made a man and a woman. Then we get to chapter 2, verse 5. Says, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. See that? So we need a man to till the ground. Well, how you gonna get him? If then it says 6, but there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground, and the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground. That's a scientist. You got somebody in the laboratory, somebody that created coronavirus. You call them a scientist, but you can't see that the Lord also a scientist. Now, it's based on what I just said and I just showed you. Now look what he do. And you gotta understand when he said, don't mingle, don't let your seed mingle with their seed. Look what he do next. Chapter 2, verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward of Eden, and there he put the man whom he formed. See that? He separated him from the other man because he don't want them intermingling together. So if you got a hamster and a rat, you ain't gonna put them in the same cage. You're gonna take the hamster and put him in another cage because you don't want him mingling with the rat. So you're gonna put him in a separate cage. So we looking at it right here. The Lord God planted a garden eastward of Eden, and there he put the man whom he formed. You don't want him intermingling with that with the other man. That man over there A whole 1,000 years have passed, because one day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So it's women all over there. So he don't want him over there getting down one of them women. What'd he do? He says, 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took he took one of the ribs and closed up the flesh thereof, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he one man, and brought it unto the man. See that? He don't want him over there getting on them other women. He made a woman from him with the same DNA. And we know what the DNA is in him is melanin. He's a peculiar man, a particular man. He made a particular woman from him, and he don't want them mixing with nobody else to mess his creation up. Yeah, so anyway, we can let this last 4 minutes play.
Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
He did just the opposite.
It grieved Isaac and Rebekah when Esau married the strange women. The scriptures reveal Isaac and Rebekah told Jacob not to marry the strange women. Somehow in this generation, many Israelite males take heed to the doctrines of devils and follow in the footsteps of Esau and King Solomon. Their mixed race and biracial children are now the new black. The indigenous people, the black people with 2 black parents, are being pushed out. White is the new black. The strange women were King Solomon's downfall. Solomon was the wisest man on earth, yet the serpent seed managed to pluck him from the Most High. The Israelite males in this generation believe they are producing Israelite children with the strange women. Do not let Satan deceive you. Satan wants you to believe you are reproducing yourself to further increase his seed's population. Your counterpart, the helpmate the Most High gave you, but many sons of Israel neglected, the serpent seed will reproduce with her to continue to increase the army of Satan. The indigenous people do not benefit at all with abominable unions with the heathens. Today,
this was the purpose of the flood. We're looking at it real time again.
Full-blooded heathen women, mixed and biracial people are taking the indigenous people culture with boldness. The indigenous people refer to them as culture vultures. The beast system continued to promote these people as black. Indigenous people of the world accept and welcome the half-caste because they believe the full-blooded serpent seed would treat the half-caste better. The serpent seed only accept the half-caste when the half-caste become full-blooded by the 3rd generation. By not accepting the half-caste will motivate the biracial to procreate with the serpent seed to win the love of the serpent seed. Meghan Markle is a prime example. The serpent seed reject and despise her, but they accept her full-blooded son. If the indigenous people do not become vigilant, they will soon become the beasts of the field. The biracial and mixed people will inherit your blessings in the beast system. It is time the so-called black race stand up and take control of their culture, communities, and even their identity. The kingdom of darkness is robbing you of your inheritance. That is why the heathens media promote mixed and biracial as black and shun the dark indigenous people. You must open your eyes to recognize Satan's schemes. Put on the whole armor of Yah.
Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Whether you like it or not, white is becoming the new black. If the indigenous people continue to be complacent with their culture and the dominion the Most High gave them, Satan will do to us like he did to Adam, rob him of his dominion.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Israelites, you cannot deny the whitewashing of the indigenous people. The kingdom of darkness has been planting tares among the wheat for a long time. Satan successfully stole your inheritance and gave it to the synagogue of Satan. The kingdom of darkness is waging war with you. How long will it take before you start to fight back and claim what is rightfully yours? Israelites, do not allow the kingdom of darkness to make white the new black.
Let all the
Okay. So any comments? Any comments?
Shalom, shalom.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. Now we can see why they put so much stress on those people in our race that are darker. They
Right.
actually they actually have made us function or made the world function like the darker the person, the more unattractive or the more that they're not desirable, you know?
Right. And the thing about it is, it's an ancient scheme. Because
Yes.
the same thing is what brought the flood the first time. But like I was saying before, that's what we have to understand when the information come your way. You know what I'm saying? You 50 years old. You know how long the earth been here? So
Right.
when you hear something, all you done gather, you just got 50 years of gathering information, and then 20 of them you was being indoctrinated when you grew up. So you
Yeah.
really have for 30 years. So when you hear something that you think is outrageous, go get a freeze pop or something and think about it. Because you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
And then the knowledge is endless on the planet. So what you have to do, what the Most High did was he brought about the internet. So a generation ago, they didn't even have that privilege. But now you got the internet. So when you hear something, don't turn your nose up at it. Go dive in and do the research. That's what the Most High wants you to do. So it's not about it has nothing to do with how you feel about nothing. You gotta find some kind of other method in order to deal with being a Hebrew Israelite and all that. It's not about no emotion. Right. So
And
yeah.
one other thing, Leonard, and I think this is connected to this, but when we think of, you had said at one point, you said we do not think about the people that we connect to as a science or the man that we choose as our husband. We didn't understand that we needed to choose. Some of us did not understand. I did not understand fully when I chose my husband that I needed to be looking for a melanated, Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
So and so that and it was because of those 20 years of education in this Western twisted up world, you know. And so we have children now,
Right.
that so
But that's nothing to worry about, because I'm gonna get ready to show you something right here. Like I was saying before, when you start to see that you're dealing with a world-class scientist, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. So
okay.
I'm in Kings. Let me read let me get over here and get something. I'm in 2 Kings. Let me find the right place to go. I'm in 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 28. And what I'm dealing with is Josiah. When you understand what's going on, Josiah is the one that right before he was king, right before Nebuchadnezzar came. And then so it says right here in verse 23 and 24. Now he understand that the Most High got a covenant with David, that it's always going to be a king on the throne out of David's lineage. That in itself already, that's a sign that's right there. He already telling him that I don't care what happened, your DNA gonna be on this throne. And nobody else, no other man DNA gonna be on this throne in Jerusalem, but your throne, but your DNA, I'm gonna watch over it. But then he gonna point when you start talking about cause all this is prophesied. He said when right before and Epiphany came, he told them he had fulfilled his promise that they're going to be like the sands of the sea. He had fulfilled that with Abraham. So now, because of what they're doing, you got to reduce this. You got to reduce the multitude. He said, "This big buzzing multitude that you have right here, I'm going to reduce it down because you've been disobedient." Well, how are you doing it? If you're a scientist, how are you going to reduce it? Bring other men from other races over there, start sleeping with them. You ain't getting no Israelites.
Mm.
Bring them over there, bring them over the West Coast and get them on slave ships and throwing half of them over the ship. He reducing the multitude. And so the point you have to understand is he not me. I ain't saying it. He said it. He said, go look in the scriptures and find out who's doing it. It's me. I'm doing it. See? Okay, so anyway, so now he says, then he asks another question. He says, who made Israel a homeborn slave? Who got him over here in America? I do. So you got to understand that. So anyway, he says, he got a covenant with David, and he told him that it's going to always be a man or son on the throne with David DNA in it. Go back to David lineage. So I'm right here in 23 and 28. It says, now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria at the river Euphrates, and the king Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had gone and seen him, and the servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo and brought him to Jerusalem and buried him in his sepulchre. And the people of the land took Josiah, the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and anointed him and made him king in his father's stead. So Josiah is out of the seed of David. He's out of David's DNA. His son died. I mean, Josiah was killed by his king, and then he got a seed out of Josiah, which is out of David's lineage, go on the throne. But let me read you to show you what I'm talking about. So the covenant he got with David is that Israel might go astray for 3 or 4 or 5 kings, but he's gonna bring one like David. With David's DNA in him that's righteous. So look at this. So 31. Jehoahaz was 20 years old, 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months. Now, to show you how precise the Bible is, the Tanakh, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah, and he did that which was evil. See that? That ain't the promise that Most High God with David. This David's seed, but he wicked as hell. You see that?
Yes.
Now, let's go to Isaiah right quick. I'm in Isaiah chapter 1. So it says, chapter 1, Isaiah, this is the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Jerusalem in the days of Uzzah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. So when you do your research and go to 2 Kings and look up each one, all 4 of these boys are kings. All 4 of them got David DNA in them. But when you go back to 2 Kings and look them up and look what they did, you're going just like I just did with Jehoahaz. Uzi was wicked as hell. Jotham was wicked as hell. Everybody know who Ahaz was. He was wicked as hell. Now here go the promise he got with David. Hezekiah came.
Come on.
He was righteous. So back to what I'm telling you about him being a scientist, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. He determining how these boys gonna come about. He the one dealing with the DNA. So by bringing the righteous seed on there, he overturning all the wicked that these other 3 done. He gonna only let them go so far to the left. Then he like he promised David, he gonna bring a righteous seed. It's like David. Now, let me read this here, and then I'm gonna go back to where I was at. So I'm in Isaiah. Well, they want you to think this Jesus, but I'm going to show you what I just told you. I'm going to show you right here. 9 and 6. Isaiah 9 and 6. So it says 9 and 6 says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace, see that? Righteousness, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom. So David's throne is David's kingdom. To order it and to establish it with justice and with justice, and from henceforth even unto forever. And the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform it. See that? So I just showed you that he asked you, how did Israel become a homeborn slave? He done it. And we see right here, to tell you the very last verse, the zeal of the Lord of hosts is doing it. He the one watching over David's throne, and he brings it might be 3 or 4 wicked seeds come, but he's going to bring a righteous seed with a heart like David got and bring them back around. Well, that's what he's getting ready to do with us. But this time, he's going to bring David himself back.
Mm.
So you ain't got nothing to worry about. So anyway, anybody else got anything to do with the video? Any questions or comments?
I think it's so significant that we understand the Lord of hosts as a scientist. You know that, I mean, because you know they the American public and the world want to put science above everything. Well, no problem, because the
Right,
Lord of hosts is exactly.
right, exactly.
Absolutely.
And then not only that is all the rest of them too, especially the other 6. And so you got to understand these especially these Levites, you know, they in the temple, they in there, they dealing with them.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So it's way more, it's a lot more going on than meets the eye. When you know, that's the reason why I'm trying to uncover these layers every chance I get.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody else got any comment? Okay, so we had dealt with so I'm putting nails in coffins, what I'm trying to do based on the we went for a wild ride the last 3 classes. So we talked about the melanin. So and when you understand that the pineal gland secretes the melanin, well, I'm gonna watch a little short. We're gonna watch a little short 30-minute video to you know expound on that a little more, and then we'll talk about it. Let me bring it up. Okay.
The pineal gland, its structure, location, function, and blood supply. So we're back with our medial view / sagittal section of our brain, where we can see the pineal gland, which is our topic of discussion for today, highlighted in green. So the pineal gland, also known as the epiphysis cerebri or pineal body, is a small cone-shaped structure measuring approximately 5 to 8 millimeters long. It is located in the diencephalic part of the forebrain, or prosencephalon, above the quadrigeminal plate, just here. And let's remind ourselves that the prosencephalon contains the thalamus and the hypothalamus, amongst other things. The pineal gland, shown in a posterior view, rests between the posterior aspects of the thalami here and...
Yeah, so I want to shine a light on something since I didn't have these images before. So you see where the pineal gland located there, right? Now we was talking about, and we was dealing with the soul. We're dealing with the Most High as the Lord, Yahweh as a scientist, the Lord of hosts as a scientist, and these angels as scientists. So the brother was breaking down the fact that Bobby Hemmett, that God gene, which that molecule, God molecule that is placed inside the fetus at birth. That's what these angels bring and put it in there when the fetus and when the semen comes and meets with the fallopian, the woman's fallopian tube and all that, and the fetus come about, you place this seed in there, right? So that seed come from heaven, right? Well, this pineal gland secreting melanin. The melanin come from heaven. Well, that's how you're getting it. That's how you're getting the melanin, which is coming from heaven. It's coming through this pineal gland that was this thing that was placed in there at the very beginning. So what you getting when you see another black person, you got to know that their origins came from the melanin came from heaven. They dark skinned because of a substance that came from heaven. And then not only that, the brother said it's on the other side of the universe. You know what I'm saying? So you got to imagine that. And then this is the source of everything. Like I said, on the angels, he said that I dealt with them with dreams and visions. We see all through the Bible, he dealing with all these men through dreams and visions. He could not do that if it wasn't for the pineal gland, and if it wasn't for what he put in them at conception. Okay.
Projects posteriorly from the wall of the third ventricle, just here. The pineal stalk of the pineal gland has a superior lamina and an inferior lamina. And zooming in a little to our pineal gland, we can see the habenula commissure and the habenula trigone, which are both part of the superior lamina. Now, the habenula commissure and the habenula trigone both connect the pineal body to both cerebral hemispheres, and they do so superiorly. The posterior commissure, which is part of the inferior lamina, connects the pineal body to both cerebral hemispheres inferiorly. And remember, lamina means plate, so if it helps you, you can imagine these little sheets connecting the pineal gland to the cerebrum. So in this image, we're looking at a really cool X-ray vision of the ventricles, and we have our lateral ventricles over here and our fourth ventricle over here. And between the two laminae of the pineal stalk is a space known as the...
So look, based on what she's showing you, we didn't shine a light on the pineal gland, but look at everything going on with the brain. And go back, like I said, back when you was going out, going to the clubs and whatever you was doing, you ain't know all this was going on. You was throwed on the road. You ain't know all the Most High did all this.
Yes.
Pineal recess. And the pineal recess communicates anteriorly with the third ventricle in green and the hypothalamic sulcus, which lies in the lateral wall of the third ventricle.
Okay.
The pineal gland is an endocrine gland that functions to produce the hormone melatonin, a hormone that affects the state of wakefulness and sleep, as well as photoperiodic or seasonal functions. The pineal gland is also believed to have a reproductive function associated with the onset of puberty, and it's believed that it inhibits the maturation of genitals until puberty. And it might be interesting to note that the pineal gland, unlike the rest of the brain, is not isolated from the body by the blood-brain barrier. Oxygenated blood to the pineal gland is provided via fine branches of the posterior choroidal arteries, which are derived from the posterior cerebral artery, which we can see here in green. And here, let's just point out the posterior cerebral artery coming off the basilar artery. The internal cerebral veins drain deoxygenated blood from the pineal gland, joining with the basal vein of Rosenthal and the posterior mesencephalic vein to form the great cerebral vein of Galen, which we can see here in green, and which in turn drains to the straight sinus.
This tutorial might be over, but there are more videos you can watch related to this stuff.
Okay, so so you see how they work. I mean, like I was saying before, yeah, you see how that works. How the Most High, how you doing that? And so what you have to understand with that, and this is another thing that goes over people's head too, is that Daniel said, just keep in mind what you just saw, right? And you sitting there, like I say, you only 50 years old at the most, a little over 50. So these angels, I showed you how Satan was informed to tell Bartholomew what happened in the beginning. And he told him, he said that these different angels when he got different substances from different parts and brought it back. That's how they made the man with it. So they already know the inner workings of the man. But the point I want you to understand is that Daniel said that the angel entered into him. Think about that. So you just saw what he said is a certain vessels that's sending certain blood, they're regulating the amount of blood that's going to the brain, and a certain amount of blood, regulating a certain amount of blood going to the pineal gland. So Daniel said the angel entered into him. Just let that ferment. But anyway, so yeah. So anybody got any comments on that video?
Shalom, shalom. Let me wait
Okay.
and see if anybody else has anything, because you know I can talk all night.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? Okay.
Okay, so one of the things that I picked up on, of course, you know, that the information that she was sharing, you probably have to watch the video, slow it down, and then when she say this gland is connected to this and this.
Right,
But what I did catch was that pineal gland, it's not cut off from bringing oxygen back and forth to the body to that gland. It sounds like the other arteries or whatever does not have the connection to the body like the pineal gland.
Right. It's the whole system, the human body and all that is functioning, is all regulating off of the pineal gland.
Right. Exactly.
And you just seen that she said that it's controlling the sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So what go along with sleep? Dreams.
Right.
And then she said the visionary part. So ain't that what the prophets and these men having visions?
Yes.
So it's all, that's the whole purpose of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what is placed in. This is what is placed in a person at birth. When the reason why we continually going to Genesis 18, looking at the three angels that came. Well, one of the reasons he came was to let them know Isaac gonna be born.
Yeah.
Come on. And then he told them what his name was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But what we didn't know was all this tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
All this we understand it right now, we tied to it. Somebody he can't throw a carbon all the way from heaven all the way down here and throw it in somebody's womb. Somebody got to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So did I hear you say earlier that once conception takes place, did you say that the angels bring?
Right. That's the whole purpose of it. That's what I'm saying about it. Example is a hen when she's sitting on top of a pile of eggs. The egg ain't it, the shell and the egg itself. It ain't nothing. It's what's in the egg. It's chickens in each egg. Well, that's what the human body is. The human body is a shell. It's a spirit that was a soul that was placed in it.
Yeah.
And all these angels doing just like the hen doing, watching over these bodies because in the end, the soul gonna be released from that body.
Yeah, and you said that on Saturday, and I remember that now because I thought that was so profound. Like when you think about the fact that Michael and the other six were formed and created out of fire, and they're so much higher than we are. And you ask the question, what is it about man? What is it about this creation that you guys take the time to, to make sure that we're not utterly destroyed?
Right. Exactly. Right.
Right. And so that analogy of that hen sitting on those eggs, she's sitting on those eggs because they're not just a bunch of shells. It's got something in it.
It's a life in there, and not only is life, it's life that looks just like her.
Yes.
So back to like I said before, he telling you when I put you in this flesh body, don't go mixing with somebody else. I put your forefathers to sleep and brought a woman that looked like you out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with her and her kind. Don't
right.
Deal with no other kind.
Right. So on
Yeah.
that note, let me ask a question. It's a far out question, but I think it applies. Okay. So when we think about love and we think about like, okay, for example, we think about interracial marriages of, which I have been a part. And so, whenever anyone says to an interracial couple, why would you go and marry somebody that don't do, they might say to a black man, why would you go and marry somebody that doesn't look like your mother or that is not your kind? Where the person, some people say, man, I can't help who I fell in love with. But the understanding that I have now, and you can tell me if I'm off in left field, the understanding that I have now is, for the Hebrew Israelites, you can't just allow your emotions or yourself to fall in love with anybody. You need to love your kind. Am I making sense or no?
Yeah, you making sense, but it goes back. It goes all the way back to the curses, but it even go back to, like I said before, your whole mode of thinking and all that is from, they indoctrinated you from 6 years old to 18 years old.
Okay.
So you think you in love, you ain't in love, you've been indoctrinated.
Okay.
So there ain't, and so like I was saying before, the Most High said that I was telling you about us waking up right now. Everybody ain't waking up. Most High, he's waking you up. He's sending somebody and waking you up. Well, it's the same thing with everything else was dealing with the Most High. He's sending the love. We see how he cuts off women womb.
Mm-hmm.
And then all her life, then all of a sudden when he decided, when he wanted a certain seed to come forth, he opened her womb up.
Right. So Leonard,
that ain't got nothing to do with no, we doing stuff based off ignorance because we've been indoctrinated.
Okay. And so the things, the ways that we practice, the things that we are in this strange land, it's not a reason to say, oh, you're doing something wrong, or oh, you're doing something that, but the Lord knew, the Most High, the Lord of hosts knew that these would be our practices and our ways in this strange land.
Right, he reducing the population, so that's what he's doing. Because we going in the opposite. If we was like our forefathers, then we wouldn't be being reduced. But because we in the knowledge been taken away from us, so we do based on how we've been programmed. We going along with that.
Okay.
So a prime example of that is the laptop. How I'm gonna come on here and have a show on StreamYard if I ain't loaded StreamYard in the computer?
Right.
Same thing. So you doing what you're doing because 18 years you programmed.
Okay.
From 6 years old to you come on. So you've been, especially nowadays. That's why it's so dangerous now and the Most High has to get us out of here. That's why we know we ran out because of they straight up now dealing with something as drastic as homosexuality. Because they start with Head Start now. So 4, 5 years old, you putting a wicked ass ideology on a kid at that age. How you gonna make it? He ain't gonna make it. The Most High, he has to come and get us.
Yes.
Now we know we're because ain't no way how your kid gonna get out of there. Then you got his mom and daddy working there every day like a dog on a 9 to 5, so they can't necessarily govern or regulate what they doing at the school. So the Most High got to come, and what you see him doing is shut the whole system down.
Right. And then how this whole Head Start program, I've always been against the Head Start program, and the reason is because you're taking the child out of the home and away from the mom sooner and sooner. You know what I'm saying? It used to be that the mom had the most important years of a child is from 0 to 5. Everything that they're going to learn how to solve problems. They're going to learn how to share. They're going to learn how to be mean or whatever from 0 to 5. And so when you come in and you start talking about Head Start, taking the kids out of the home at 3 and 4 years old instead of, and even kindergarten, the kindergarten age is too early. But when we understand now who these wicked people are,
Right.
then we understand that's why they want to get the child out, this whole Head Start program that's all over the nation, because they want the kids in the program of indoctrination sooner.
Right. Right. It's been working, like you said. Why change it if it's been working all this time?
Right.
So that's how that goes. But like I said, the Most High is and then the trick come in that is after when you come across this type of information, and then you keep going forward. Whatever happened after that is on you. That's like David Freeman. He told Uzi, don't touch his ark. Most High gonna do something with you. You touch his ark, well, he touched it.
Mm-hmm.
And Most High sent him to Neverland. So that's on him. Because he was told, don't touch his ark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't touch this ark. You do anything you want, but don't touch this ark. So it's the same thing with that. So you not what people we're not understanding in this time and this time and hour right now, you can flip flop or do what you want to do and say that you ain't no Israelite, you don't believe in it. But the information, if it comes to you, Most High sent it. You can reject it, don't deal with it if you don't want to, but it's repercussion to it. You're Israelite. That's over your head. You ain't got no say so if you're Israelite or not. If you're Israelite, and the Most High is working his jelly now and he's bringing his information before you. You can deal with it or you don't have to deal with it. It's on you. But it's repercussions. Yeah, so that's how that works. Just like spring, summer, winter, and fall. You already know that it's gonna get hot. So you better, go get your air conditioner. or get you a cool room or something. You already know it's gonna get hot. Just like you know it's gonna get cold. You can sit there with it if you want to. It ain't gonna be fall forever or spring forever. You gotta get it lined out. Yeah, so that's how that works. Anyway, so anybody else got anything? I got one more video with this pineal gland, and one of the things about it is, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I was telling you about how the Moors and these Islamic people, the Muslim always talking about how they deal with numbers. Well, we already know now why you dealing with numbers. The Most High scientist. All you doing is copying out what he doing. But the guy, when this video right here, he makes the point to let you know that it's 12 different parts. 12 different parts surrounding the brain that's working with the pineal gland. 12. Come on. Anyway, so let me let this play. Okay. You have to do a little reading on this one.
This gland is activated by light, and it controls various biorhythms of the body. It works in harmony with the hypothalamus gland, which directs the body's thirst, hunger, sexual desire, and the biological clock that determines our aging process. When the pineal gland awakens, one feels a pressure at the base of the brain. This pressure will often be experienced when connecting to higher frequency. A head injury can also activate the third eye pineal gland. Well, the physiological function of the pineal gland has been unknown until recent times. Mystical traditions and esoteric schools have long known this area in the middle of the brain to be the connecting link between the physical and spiritual worlds. Considered the most powerful and highest source of ethereal energy available to humans, the pineal gland has always been important in initiating supernatural powers. Development of psychic talents has been closely associated with this organ of higher vision.
Okay. Okay. Anybody got any comments on anything they read on that, or anything they want to talk about before we close out? Anybody got anything they want to bring up? Okay. So I got a couple of videos I'm gonna give you on this too. Let me see. Got any questions over here?
Leonard, did you put something on the screen for us to watch?
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I just heard the music. I was wondering.
Okay. Okay, I must hit the wrong button. Yeah, but you heard it, right?
Heard the music, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, my bad. I'm trying to work my jelly on this. It's my first time. Yeah, so it says helpful teaching. Now they teach 3-year-olds that are 15 different genders. Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. We gotta. When you understand what's going on, it's time for the Lord of Hosts is coming to get us out of this, because we at the end of Jacob's trouble. You know, whether people want to know that or not, we at the end. Yeah. So yeah, I made a miss cue on one of these buttons on that. I thought it was showing. Okay. So with that being said, I got a couple more videos. You can write them down. That's gonna probably help. It's one of them is Melanin and the Pineal Gland by Dr. Ann Brown. It's got I think it's like 4 or 5 parts to it. She goes into a lot of helpful information talking about the pineal gland. And then there's another video called.
Could you spell Could you spell the last name of Dr. You say Dr. Ryan?
Ann, A-N-N. It's a woman.
Uh-huh.
Brown.
What's her last name?
Brown.
Oh, Brown. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And then the other video is Raw Foods on QTV. This guy, he's talking about raw foods, like, you know, we're not supposed to be eating meat and all that stuff. He's saying that, and he tell you all the benefits of it and what is by us eating all this meat, cooked food, and all that, how it's, you know, it's deteriorating us. But he's saying when he say raw foods, he means apples, oranges, and all the stuff that come from the trees and all that. That's raw. It's raw food. You don't have to be fire not to be put on it. So it's just a good video. It's like I said, it's Raw Foods on QTV. It's the name of it. Okay, so with that being said, anybody else got anything they want to comment or question before we close out? Yeah, I was trying to see. You know, I was working my see what I can do with this newfound information I found on here. So that's what I was doing today, pretty much getting acquainted with it. Yeah. And
You're doing a great job.
Okay, and yeah, I'm trying to introduce everybody to my the part of my book collection back here in the back. Let me show it to you. Yeah, my little book collection. It's part of it. Scan around the room a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I'm in the process of putting this on the dope. Right here, see that scripture. I'm supposed to be in my scripture room, working on it. Yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, nobody else have any more comments? Bring you up. Anybody got any comments? You got so before we go?
No, just Ben, have you suggested any titles of books for the melanin, or we can just get any book on the melanin?
Oh, I have like about 10 books on melanin. I got like I said, I have books everywhere, so I'm gonna dig them out and then I'll show them on the screen.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay, and on that the very, very last video that you played, did they say that the pineal gland regulates the sex drive?
Yeah, it's all part of everything. That you have, when you understand that, go back to what he told him: be fruitful and multiply.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So like I said, it's all this information is distributed and it comes out in the right way. All the dots start becoming connected.
Right. And so
Yeah.
then as we learn more about how powerful our bodies are and how the Lord of hosts made them, what would you say about medicines?
Well, when medicines in a way is good, but like I said, look how, when you understand who these people are, they they perverted, and so they started out medicine was good, but look what medicine doing now. Everybody and their mama on pain pills because of those pain pills is not the Most High when he created Adam, he didn't have no pharmacy on the side of in the garden. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't got outrageous with it. My thing is, what I have over here with me is I have a bunch of these home remedies books, herbal books and all that. And I really don't deal with too much the hospital too much.
Right. I was reading about Advil and like when you have a headache, any medicine that you take for a headache, it doesn't really heal the headache. It numbs that part of the brain where, the medicine numbs. It doesn't. It's not really a healer. But if the body is left alone with the great way that it's designed, the body is designed to heal itself with, like you say, like the herbs and stuff from nature, because
Right.
everything from nature is within us, which I think is so powerful.
Right. It's side effects. It's side effects. So anything you bring in your body foreign, it's side effects to it. So that's what you gotta look at. It's gonna help in one way, but it's gonna have side effects in another way. So I'm very, very peculiar, very particular about dealing with. I mean, like a lot of times, I just go with if pain ain't just unbearable, I'm gonna ride it out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like I said, it's too much stuff going on right now. Like I said, just look around. There's so many people that's on pain. People that, they never would even been dealing with drugs had they not tricked them and got them on pain pills.
Right, and then we
And
can go.
they're out the streets. They're out the streets messing with street drugs.
Exactly, and then Leonard, to think that they're putting our children on Ritalin in grade school. That's a gateway to drugs as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, somebody asked a question to Queen Netta about those 15 genders. You gonna try to answer that? Make a comment on it. Okay. We're gonna close out right here. So I'm gonna see y'all on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So shalom. Shalom and another.
Shalom.
Okay. I'll see everybody Wednesday.